Born from disaster in 1971, Bangladesh is home to 170 million people and a world of hidden struggles. From unusual taxes shaping marriage traditions to staggering population pressures, this nation's story is full of surprises. In this video, we'll reveal 15 shocking truths that expose the darker side of Bangladesh. In Bangladesh, men are allowed up to 4 wives under Islamic law if they treat them equally. This practice, more common in rural areas with traditional values, can show social status and help with family and farming support. To discourage multiple marriages, the government imposes increasing taxes on each additional wife, from less than $1 for the first to over $400 for the fourth. While some think the tax may lower the number of multiple marriages in cities, others doubt it addresses deeper social issues, especially since many marriages lack legal records. Women's rights advocates say broader actions are needed to tackle the root causes. Despite these efforts, multiple marriages still occur, sometimes causing family challenges, especially with sharing resources and attention. Early marriage continues to be a challenge in Bangladesh, where the country faces a significantly high rate of this practice. This custom is often linked to poverty and traditional norms. For some families, marriage is seen as a way to ease financial pressure. The dowry tradition, in which the bride's family pays money to the groom's family, also plays a role. This practice affects people's access to education and personal development, as they are forced to take on new responsibilities in their roles. The government, along with various organizations, is actively working to reduce this issue. However, it remains prevalent in some rural areas. In Bangladesh, the adult entertainment industry remains hidden yet active, despite being illegal. Poverty drives many into this underground world due to financial hardship. Over 18 million people in Bangladesh live below the poverty line, with women often facing the greatest challenges. Many, including mothers and sole providers, are left with limited job options and turn to this industry out of necessity. For example, wages in the garment sector are under $100 per month, not nearly enough to support families. What's striking is how organized this hidden industry has become. Despite its illegal status, networks operating in cities like Dhaka use online platforms, including social media and encrypted messaging. Government efforts to regulate or shut down these networks happen occasionally, but inconsistent enforcement means they continue to operate. Unfortunately, women in these situations are often vulnerable to unfair treatment and dangerous working conditions with little legal protection. Yet there is hope. Initiatives like BRAC and Grameen Bank provide small loans to help women start businesses, offering alternatives to the adult industry. While these programs show promise in reducing poverty, the demand for support far exceeds current resources. The challenge is great, but with continued efforts, there is potential to break this cycle and create a better future for women in Bangladesh. Up next, discover how a nation copes with an overwhelming population and pollution crisis that threatens its future. Bangladesh is one of the world's most densely populated countries, with over 169 million people living in a space smaller than Iowa. Picture a whole nation fitting into a single state. With more than 1,200 people per square kilometer, every inch of space is valuable. This high population density creates challenges for housing, healthcare, and education systems, all of which are striving to meet the needs of a growing population. Cities like Dhaka are feeling the effects, with heavy traffic, crowded conditions, and limited resources. However, nearly 1/3 of Bangladesh's population is under 15, offering great potential for future growth if the right opportunities are provided. In addition to population concerns, environmental issues are significant. Rapid industrial growth has contributed to pollution in Bangladesh. Dhaka, the capital, faces some of the most challenging air quality in the world, which impacts public health. Water quality is another concern, with untreated industrial waste, particularly from the textile industry, affecting rivers like the Baraganga, once a vital water source. Plastic waste further complicates the issue, blocking drainage systems and contributing to urban flooding during the rainy season, particularly in vulnerable communities. Despite these challenges, Bangladesh's youthful population and economic potential offer hope for a brighter future, as solutions are sought for its evolving needs. Enjoyed the video? Don't forget to ring the bell, share it with your friends, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. It truly helps me out, and I promise to bring you even more awesome content. Over the past decade, Bangladesh has emerged as a rapidly growing economy, with its GDP rising by an average of 7% annually between the years 2010 and 2023. A key factor behind this growth is the ready-made garment industry, making Bangladesh the world's second-largest garment exporter, behind China. This industry generates over $40 billion each year, creating jobs and fueling development. Yet, while the economy soars, wealth distribution remains uneven. The richest 1% of Bangladeshis control 16% of the country's wealth, while nearly half of the population lives on less than $3 a day. Many garment workers, who earn around $95 a month, face economic challenges, especially women, who make up 85% of the workforce. Bangladesh's reliance on low-cost labor has driven its success as a manufacturing hub, but it also comes with environmental costs. Dhaka, the capital, faces pollution challenges, with air quality ranked among the worst in the world. Outdated vehicles, factories, and industrial waste impact public health, particularly respiratory well-being. Despite these challenges, Bangladesh has found innovative ways to foster progress. The Grameen Bank, founded by Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus, has empowered small-scale entrepreneurs, especially women, through microloans, helping to break the cycle of poverty. In urban centers like Dhaka, where many rural migrants live in overcrowded urban areas, the hope for a better future keeps the people of Bangladesh moving forward. Imagine walking through the busy streets of Dhaka, Bangladesh. Among the hustle and bustle, you may come across children facing hardships, often seeking shelter wherever possible. Some may rest outdoors, making use of available materials for comfort. According to UNICEF, many people in Bangladesh, especially in larger cities like Dhaka, face housing difficulties. These individuals, often referred to as tokai, gather recyclable materials such as plastic bottles and scrap metal. These difficulties stem from factors such as widespread poverty, migration, and natural disasters. Life on the streets can present hurdles, including limited access to proper health care and nutrition. Although life on the streets presents challenges, efforts are being made to improve conditions for them. Over time, various factors like population growth and economic disparities have contributed to this issue. While Bangladesh has seen significant economic development, the needs of the most vulnerable can sometimes be overlooked. However, organizations like Operation Bangladesh and BRAC are actively working to provide support through shelter, education, and vocational training, helping these individuals build brighter futures. Though the challenge is large, progress is being made, with international groups such as the United Nations advocating for stronger protections for children. With ongoing efforts, there is hope for a better future for these individuals. What if I told you there's a place where thousands build their homes near graves? In Bangladesh, a country of over 170 million, some of the most vulnerable communities live in Dhaka's slums. Here, over 4 million people make their homes in small, makeshift shelters, often built on land that was once used as a cemetery. In these informal settlements, daily life comes with significant challenges. Families live in small spaces built from scraps of metal and wood, with limited access to clean water or reliable electricity. The heat is intense, and during monsoon rains, the narrow streets become difficult to navigate due to flooding. Health risks, food insecurity, and unsafe conditions are ongoing concerns, leaving people struggling to make ends meet. In the busy streets of Dhaka, Bangladesh, a quiet but important challenge takes place. Many of the city's most vulnerable wake up not to the scent of breakfast, but to the task of searching for leftover food that has been set aside by those who have more than enough. This practice, sometimes called pak-pak, highlights the widespread financial struggles that affect nearly 1 in 5 people in Bangladesh, where many live on less than $2 a day. For some, looking through leftovers from restaurants and supermarkets becomes a way to manage, even though there are potential risks like food-related illnesses and other health concerns. While Bangladesh's economy has grown, not everyone has benefited equally. In Dhaka, luxury buildings stand in contrast to neighborhoods where families face daily challenges to meet their needs, showing the gap between those with plenty and those with less. For people with limited options, finding food in this way provides a lifeline, despite the risks. This issue is not unique to Bangladesh. Around the world, millions of people face food insecurity while more than 1 billion tons of food are wasted each year. From Venezuela to parts of Africa, and even in wealthier countries, people sometimes have to search for food as a means to get by. Hunger is part of a larger issue. Overcrowding, limited access to education, and underdeveloped infrastructure all play a role in the cycle of financial hardship. Though progress has been made, millions still lack access to essentials like clean water and healthcare, leading to tough choices. Imagine walking through busy streets in Dhaka, where trash piles up and mixes with the smells of street food. Only half the waste is collected, leaving the rest to pile up. About 41% of Bangladesh's population, over 60 million people, lack basic sanitation. Poor waste management is a major cause. Garbage bins are scarce, so people throw trash anywhere. Rivers and streets become dumping grounds. Dhaka alone produces over 6,000 tons of solid waste daily, overwhelming disposal systems. Untreated sewage is often released into open water, harming the environment and public health. Diseases like diarrhea and cholera are common, especially in poor areas. The World Health Organization reports that over 1/5 of rural wells contain dangerous arsenic levels. Food vendors often sell near these trash piles, creating health risks that make many avoid their food. Rapid urbanization, population growth, and limited government action have worsened the problem. Despite economic progress, sanitation remains a challenge. NGOs like BRAC and WaterAid are improving conditions. Open defecation has dropped from over 30% in the early 20th century to less than 1% by 2020. Progress continues, but more work is needed. Which surprising truth about Bangladesh changed the way you see this vibrant country? Share your thoughts below. Despite efforts to improve access to education, many children in Bangladesh still face challenges in completing their schooling. Enrollment rates are increasing, but approximately 6 in 10 children finish primary school. Economic difficulties play a role, as some rural families prioritize work over education for their children, sometimes from an early age. This situation can result in limited educational opportunities, affecting future generations. In many cases, this leads to students leaving school early, which may reduce their career prospects and impact their future potential. The healthcare system in Bangladesh also faces challenges. Limited access to medical services, shortages of healthcare professionals, and financial constraints at health facilities can result in longer waiting times for treatment, especially in rural areas. Although the average life expectancy is 72 years, the system remains under pressure in certain regions. Malnutrition remains a concern, with around 4 in 10 children under the age of 5 experiencing stunted growth. While there has been progress in some areas, there is still work to be done to meet health and nutrition goals, particularly for children's development. When walking through the streets of Dhaka, the capital of Bangladesh, it is common to see people carrying objects on their heads due to the lack of access to vehicles. Pedestrians often face numerous dangers when crossing the chaotic streets, as overpasses or underpasses are scarce, and many intersections lack traffic lights, relying instead on police guidance to manage the flow. The roads are often in poor condition, riddled with potholes, and congested with vehicles of all kinds. Traffic in Dhaka is a constant bustle of activity, with honking cars, buses, and rickshaws creating a symphony of noise unique to the city. Rickshaws, a symbol of Dhaka, win through the narrow alleys with surprising agility, transporting both people and goods. Though safety concerns arise due to their lack of protection in accidents. The city's public transport system, dominated by old, overcrowded buses and unreliable schedules, is also inadequate, especially in rural areas where uncomfortable. Human-powered bicycle taxis are a common sight. Many of these cyclists, often facing difficult living conditions, carry additional passengers, highlighting the daily challenges and resilience of the people in the country. Despite these challenges, the people of Dhaka display remarkable resilience and ingenuity in navigating their daily lives. Comprehensive solutions, including investments in public transport, road infrastructure, and public safety awareness, are crucial to addressing these issues, though they require substantial resources and political will to implement effectively. Bangladesh's garment industry, a key part of the economy, employs hundreds of thousands of mostly women workers under harsh conditions. Many work long hours, up to 16 a day, without fair pay or breaks. The factories often have poor ventilation, cramped spaces, and unsafe structures, exposing workers to health risks and injuries. Safety violations are common. Emergency exits may be blocked, fire equipment may be lacking, and buildings may be unsafe for heavy machinery. The 2013 Rana Plaza collapse, which killed over 1,100 workers, highlighted these dangers. Despite warnings from workers about building cracks, they were forced to keep working to meet production deadlines. Since then, conditions have remained unsafe. Workers face threats and retaliation when raising concerns. Monthly wages average around $95, barely enough for basic living. Women face extra challenges like harassment, discrimination, no proper maternity leave, and insufficient restroom facilities, forcing them to limit water intake to avoid breaks. Global fashion brands' demand for cheap clothes pressures factories to cut costs, compromising worker safety and fair wages. Subscribe now to explore more untold stories from around the world. Hit the bell to never miss an update. Bangladesh faces serious crime challenges, especially in its big cities like Dhaka, Chittagong, and Khulna, affecting millions daily. Dhaka, the capital, is known for high rates of street crime such as robbery, pickpocketing, and theft, often occurring in crowded public places like markets and bus stations, where criminals easily blend in. This crime wave creates fear and mistrust among residents. People avoid carrying valuables, limit movements after dark, and stay alert constantly, which takes a psychological toll on communities. Public transport, buses and rickshaws, has become especially unsafe, with frequent robberies and assaults. A key problem is public distrust in law enforcement. Many avoid reporting crimes, believing the police cannot or will not help. Corruption within police forces worsens the situation, as some officers ignore crimes or even get involved themselves. This lets criminals act freely and fuels ongoing insecurity. Crime also harms the economy. Businesses spend heavily on security, tourists avoid risky areas, and investors hesitate. Women face particular dangers like sexual harassment and assault, which often go unreported due to stigma and weak legal protections, limiting their freedom in education and work. Underlying these issues are broader social problems. High unemployment, especially among young men, and lack of education push many toward crime to survive. These economic and social struggles drive the growing crime crisis in Bangladesh's urban areas. Bangladesh showcases one of the world's most fascinating examples of religious syncretism, blending elements from Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, and local animist traditions. Though predominantly Muslim, with over 90% following Islam, Bangladesh's spiritual life reflects its rich history shaped by Hindu and Buddhist kingdoms before Islam arrived in the 13th century. Islam spread through Muslim traders and rulers like the Bengal Sultanate and Mughals did not erase earlier beliefs. Instead, Islam in Bangladesh evolved inclusively, often integrating Hindu and Buddhist customs. A key example is the veneration of Sufi saints or pirs, whose tombs attract pilgrims from various faiths. Rituals there mix Islamic prayers with Hindu and animist practices. Festivals like Shab-e Barat blend Islamic and Hindu traditions, featuring customs such as lighting oil lamps and fireworks, which echo Hindu celebrations like Diwali. Daily religious life often involves visiting temples, practicing Buddhist meditation, or consulting healers who combine different faiths' rituals. Bangladeshi folk music and literature also illustrate this mix, with poets like Leland Shah blending Islamic, Hindu, and Buddhist mysticism. However, modern challenges arise as Orthodox groups sometimes reject these syncretic traditions. Rising religious fundamentalism and political tensions threaten the tolerant spiritual culture that has flourished for centuries. This religious syncretism is a defining feature of Bangladesh's identity, reflecting centuries of cultural interaction and forming a unique, inclusive spirituality not found in many Muslim-majority countries. On the evening of November 12, 1970, a cyclone formed in the warm waters of the Bay of Bengal, leading to one of the most significant natural events in history, Cyclone Bhola. Initially a typical storm, it quickly intensified into a powerful cyclone that impacted Bangladesh, a nation already susceptible to such occurrences. With towering waves and strong winds, Cyclone Bhola significantly altered the landscape, affecting thousands of homes and structures. The challenges were magnified by limited infrastructure and preparedness, resulting in a profound loss and widespread disruption. In the aftermath, the affected communities faced ongoing difficulties, including water accumulation and health concerns. Bangladesh's low-lying geography and coastal location amplified the cyclone's effects. Cyclone Bhola is estimated to have resulted in the loss of 300 to 500,000 lives in the Ganges Delta region, then part of East Pakistan. The response from the West Pakistani government contributed to feelings of discontent among East Pakistanis, leading to tensions that ultimately sparked the Bangladesh Liberation War in March 1971. After the Awami League Party's victory in the December 1970 elections, political unrest grew as the West Pakistani government was slow to transfer power. These events led to the pursuit of independence, culminating in the establishment of Bangladesh on December 16, 1971. Cyclone Bhola not only caused significant physical changes but also played an important role in shaping Bangladesh's path to independence. The nation's rich cultural heritage, expressed through its language, Bengali, and vibrant literary and artistic traditions, continues to flourish. It's symbolized by figures like Nobel laureate Rabindranath Tagore. After exploring these 15 disturbing realities about Bangladesh, we see a nation that embodies both the worst challenges facing humanity and the incredible resilience of the human spirit. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the hidden realities of Bangladesh. If you found this exploration eye-opening, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our future investigations into the untold stories that shape our world. Let me know in the comments which aspect of Bangladesh's story surprised you most, and suggest other countries or topics you'd like us to explore in future videos. Thanks for being with us. Leave a comment, like to show your support, and remember to hit that subscribe button for more exciting videos. See you next time.